so heavy!
What's up, everybody?
Welcome back.
Welcome back. It's don't mind our outfits. It's minus a million outside. It's minus 29, I think, this morning when I took the dog out. So,
And that wasn't with wind chill?
That was with wind chill, but still,
Damn.
like,
Ugh.
be a bad time to be homeless, I tell you.
No kidding.
It's ridiculous. So, yeah, we got some cold weather outside, and we got some hot heat.
Oh,
with
yeah.
some album of the year releases that we need to get through.
We got to do some part 2 releases. I'm
baby.
dressing up as Santa Claus because I'll be delivering some sick ass gifts to y'all today. Christmas came early.
Yeah, and so did I.
Ha.
So yeah, welcome to the Real Heavy Riff Cult. We are your leaders, Rhett and James. This is part 2 of a 3-part series of our top 30 album of the year. And I'll tell you, I thought I had my top 20 down for this part 2 video, and I had it locked in tight. But then there were 2 albums that came out between November and December, and I had to do it. I had to knock 2 out of the list. And
that's insane. And like not even put it in top 30 because we already did top 30.
Yeah.
Shit.
But there, I one of them, I was like right on the cusp of putting in my top 10, to be honest. But I'm like, no, I can't do that. The top 10s are the OGs. They're solid. But there was a couple in the top 20 where I was like, yeah, these ones that came out recently, they're a little bit more deadly. So, and I listened, I compared, and yeah, the ones that got knocked out, it was like, get out of here.
I got there's better ones out there.
Yeah. Go sit in a car with the dogs.
Kick into the streets.
Yeah.
Go sleep in the bus shelters.
Yeah, you get to freeze out there in the frigid ass cold.
Absolutely.
But I think you kicked it off last time, right?
I did. Do you want to start this time?
Let's fire it up here.
Let's give her.
Okay, so the first one, my number 20, I almost said number 30. My number 20 is actually a Christmas album. Believe it or not. It's a great holiday hymn for the whole family. So during this holiday season, we're filming this on December 13th. But when you're meeting with your family around the Christmas tree this year, you can play this album for grandma. It's called Acacia Strain. You are safe from God here.
I lost control!
I just picture sitting around the Christmas tree with the whole family, and you're like, gather around, fam. We're gonna sing some humble holiday hymns. Take it away, grandma. Put me in the fucking ground.
She gets her low Vince gutturals and screams and everything. She just like drops her cane and throws it out there and starts like pushing everybody off the sides.
Yeah. Instead of opening presents this year, you're gonna be opening this fucking pit the fuck up.
Hell yeah.
So this album was so good, and I feel a little guilty for not putting it higher up on the list. But I can rest with it where it is. I can sit with it where it is. It was so good. It was a great blend of like doom, power violence. You know, I don't want to use the term deathcore because they've been called a deathcore band for so long. I would
They're far from
honestly,
it.
yeah, I would honestly say that they're like a beatdown hardcore band, and especially over the years, they've gotten more doomy in their sound. Like on their previous record, I think that that ending track was with the vocalist from Full of Hell, and then they put out like a split, I think, right, with Full of Hell, or like a project with them. And so this is like a furthering of that doom sound, just like heavy, chunky, beefy, just disgustingly down-tuned, heavy, but yet very like straight to the point and simple. You know, and really not a lot of tongue in cheek, like even lyrically, it's just very like to the point. And in fact, there was a wise man that once said, I think his name was Kevin Malone, from The Office. And if I can remember correctly, he said, me think, why waste time? Say lot word when few word do trick.
Amen.
And that's what I feel about
Amen.
this album. Yeah.
Our Lord and Savior, Kevin Malone.
Yeah. As like, you know, this album is so punishingly heavy, but it's also very well written, super dark, super dreary, but yet fun at the same time. Like, there's this like existential dread element throughout the entire album, both lyrically, and I think this is Vincent's like most insane vocal performance of any Acacia Strain album. You know, and he's just, it's like, it feels like he's just pouring out his soul, you know. I love the drumming. I think their new drummer, Matt Guglielmo, or whatever the fuck his name is, he's an absolute monster. Like he hits him hard. Bass is just crunchy and chunky, and like it sounds like the strings are about to fall off, you know. But it's just so punishing and so good, and certified ass beater. And every song is just like a hit classic, you know, like you could just throw down and, you know, give it your all in the pit and just get your ass kicked, you know.
And even that closer,
But
because they're all like 2.5 minute, 3-minute songs, and the last song is like this 14-minute post-hardcore type dissonant doom song out of nowhere, but it's just like, it's still heavy as shit. It's sick.
Yeah, super experimental. And to be honest with you, so I wanted to reserve my 20 and my 19 spot for doom or death doom albums this year, and I actually had Primitive Man's new album in this spot, and I'm like, I was going back and forth, and honestly, this album topped that Primitive Man album for me. You know, I know it's not totally doom, but like it just has all those elements that I love, and it's just so crushingly heavy. And yeah, so that's my top 20.
That's just it. Acacia Strain 20 through 11. It's just, that's it.
Yeah,
all the spots.
Yeah. Number 19, Acacia Strain. Number 18, Acacia Strain. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, this will be the shortest episode in history.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 20. I could also call this like a family-friendly Christmas time album. It's kind of in that acceptable range. I guess it's kind of genre bending in a sense, where it's like you're bringing together people from one genre and you're trying to bring them over to the dark side, if you want to call it, and kind of fusing the best of both worlds together. The album is called Gold by a supergroup called Scour.
Involvement, dejection.
If you haven't heard of these guys before, it's the super group consists of basically Phil from Pantera and down. You got Adam Jarvis on drums from like Misery Index. And there's another guitarist from Misery Index on there. You got Cattle Decapitation bassist. And then someone else from Agrophatic Nosebleed, I believe, as well. So it's basically, so it's taken all of those bands and all of those inspirations and combine them together to make one sick ass kind of new age black metal album. And the one reason why I put this in my top 20 is because I think it's going to stand the test of time because of, I guess, how like quote commercially accessible that it is. It's going to bring people from probably like the post-hardcore, probably like for some grindcore, maybe some other, maybe deathcore a little bit. And if they kind of want to start getting into more traditional black metal, this will probably be the one album that will be like that transition one to kind of get them halfway there instead of going full off the deep end. But there's still plenty of intensity. You still got like all the trembling guitars. You still got like Phil's vocals on this album are insane because now with his age, he doesn't have that same range as what he once did when he was with Pantera. And with him being from down south, he's got like that old raspy kind of long drawn out drawl of a voice. So then now like this is perfectly suited for his style now that he can kind of just go too low and just sing the piss out of everything. The one thing I always find was like you can definitely hear the kind of the Cattle Decap inspiration from this album. It's got like that same kind of grindy underlays that Cattle has, except it's pretty straight to the point. Like all of the riffs and there's not really any solos in it. They're all pretty straightforward. But because Cattle Decap obviously has got some pretty nasty solos and vocal performances and stuff like that. So it's kind of more of like a tuned down version of it, stripped down and simplified. But nonetheless, it's still super dark, super heavy. And yeah, I think, like I said before, it's going to stand the test of time because of kind of your fusing everything together. So yeah, that's my number 20.
That's sick. Yeah, I remember when I first heard that album, I didn't know what to expect, but I was pleasantly surprised. It's kind of like a blackened grind album, but very straight to the point and huge emphasis on the blackened.
Big
and I agree with you. I think that like a lot of people follow Phil, obviously from Pantera, and he was in Down, right?
Yeah, he's in Down.
Yeah. And that's kind of like mainstream metal, kind of like blue collar metal. And I think a lot of those people, if they're following Phil, especially online and stuff like that, it might pull a lot of those people into more of the black metal stuff. It's also a pretty punky album. Like, it has a lot of punk, like fast elements too, which I found really cool. And did you listen to that new the new Tony Danza podcast?
Yeah, I did.
So there's a part on there I found interesting where Lane, the guitarist, one of the guitarists from Tony Danza, tells the story about how a friend of a friend introduced him to Phil Anselmo, and Phil invited him down to his house and started like writing. They started writing music together, and then Phil started playing him a bunch of black metal. And then he's like, can you join my black metal band? How crazy would that have been if the guitarist from Tony Danza joined, made a project with Phil Anselmo?
I just don't know what that would sound like. How do you make it
crazy
a blackened version of Danza?
Yeah.
I think people would know what to do with themselves. Their heads would all explode.
Yeah. So funny.
But yeah, solid number 20 in my opinion.
That's awesome. That's a good. Yeah, we got good top 20 so far.
Mm-hmm. Going to 19.
Number 19. So going more towards the traditional death doom vibe here. And there's a lot of really amazing Death Doom releases this year. But if I had to pick one of my favorites, it's Ritual Mass with Cascading Misery for my number 19. This album was so atmospheric, which I really loved. I thought that it was like a really great driving record. You know, on the previous episode, you were talking about an album that you put on when you were driving, and I think it was the Evoken album.
Yep.
That was this album for me. It's like something that is really captivating from start to finish. It's got those like, you know, stank face riffs, super crazy groove, but like really cool atmosphere with obviously a lot of reverb. You know, it's got like I don't know, it feels like you're being pulled into a chasm and you're kind of trapped there. So it's perfect for a long drive. But yeah, it's just like very unsettling, which I feel like kind of draws you in and keeps you captivated throughout the experience, call it. But yeah, it's also super brutal. And yeah, I just feel like it was a fucking absolute banger of an album. I can't remember. There's a track at the end, which is also a super long track. It's like 14 minutes long.
That sounds about
And
right.
it's just very dark and unsettling, and it makes you feel like existential dread and decay. I love when albums kind of like make you feel something. And not to say the other Death Doom albums this year didn't make me feel something. I found that most of them were very just kind of like they just kind of like all the songs blend together kind of thing. But this one was like there was a lot of juxtaposition between the songs, and yeah, it was just great.
You kind of have to
songwriting.
submit. You kind of have to submit to it too. Like you can't reject it. You have to kind of get into that headspace and feel it all out.
This album like forces you into submission, which is I really enjoy that about a lot of the albums on my, you know, top 20, top 10 list. They like force you into submission where it's like they, you know, the songwriting is so good that it like captivates you and you want to, okay, what's next? And you're like, you're in it. And then the replayability, like it's an album that I'm going to come back to, and I'm going to be like, when I think about a Death Doom album, I'm going to think about this album. So, but 2026, we got the new Fossilization. So that could be my, I don't know.
Are we
a little too early to call, but that
predicting into the future a little bit here?
Yeah, in terms of Death Doom, but that's what this band kind of reminds me of, is like just really great songwriting. I don't know. Yeah, that's it.
That's
the
it.
point.
Perfect.
Yep.
Love it. Get it out of the way.
Yep.
Moving on. Me, we're not going Death Doom route now. We're going more melodic tech death. From a band that I haven't really listened to much of, even though that we've seen them live. I haven't listened to their albums or a lot of their albums kind of in full up until this one, but
Mhm.
this one kind of set the standard for me in terms of like everything that they've written in the past. And that is Allegaeon with the Ossuary lens.
Oh shit.
So this one I always kind of compare it to like if the Black Dahlia had some more melodic leads and they played it about 50% faster, then you'd pretty much get Allegaeon. There's like always like you can definitely hear the two distinct guitar works in this album too. It's like you got one guitar playing a super chunky riff, and then you got another one that's kind of playing higher up on the fretboard or something, and then somehow you can still disdain like the bass and everything, like the bass still cuts through. So like the mixing and production of this album is like fantastic. And but then it kind of forces you to it's pulling you in a couple different directions, because when you have the dual guitars going on, but they're kind of playing two completely different things, they're not harmonizing. They're almost, it's like deharmonizing, if that sense. Like one might be playing a dissonant riff or the chunkier one, and one might be playing like a more uplifting one. So it's just like this weird just juxtaposition of like emotions. It's kind of interesting. And then same with the solos, I really like. It's like one might play a melodic solo, and then the guitar will just play like a staccato riff, and then still keeping all that dissonant feelings. And it's just kind of that overall creative ability in a tech death album is what I really like and what I appreciate. And then there's always like even the vocals too. The vocals will kind of add to that dissonance. I can't remember the guy's or the vocalist's name, but he's not a big guy. But just the fact that he's able to do what he can do out of that body is just, it's pretty impressive. There's a couple songs that I liked. One was called Driftwood, and the other one was called The Swarm. And The Swarm reminded me a lot of Swarm by Meshuggah, where it kind of has that, it feels like you're being attacked by bees, where they have like all snapping, and it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like a lot of different pinging and stuff, and it feels like you're being stung a whole bunch of times. It's a compliment. It's not an insult. Yeah, but it's definitely one, when I was re-listening to this album, was one that was like, shit, like it's tight, it's concise, makes me feel things in a good way about bees, which is weird. But the other thing I was looking up was this album is 45 minutes long, so it's not short by any stretch of the imagination, but apparently this is their shortest album by like 9 minutes. They're kind of known to have some longer albums. So I kind of felt like they cut all the filler and kind of kept all the killer, which I really liked. So I think it's just a great tech deck release, and it shouldn't be one that people skip out on.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that album came out like earlier in the year.
Yeah, that one was like
January,
March?
February, maybe March. I can't remember. But yeah, I remember that being like a really great one. I wish I should have gone back to that one.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You'll go back. It's not like if they don't make your list, you're never going to listen to them ever again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're dead to me. Fuck you guys. These are the last 30 albums that I'm listening to for the rest of my life.
Yeah, until December of next year.
Yeah, the rest of you guys can eat shit.
Yeah. Okay, the glasses are coming off for this one.
Ooh, this is getting serious here.
Oh. Step into the light.
Yep.
All right. So my number 18 is you could call it a supercharged supergroup. Featuring members of Nails, Undeath, Genocide Pact, Althar. It is Blood Monolith with The Calling of Fire. was an absolute short and sweet, but savage death metal assault, packed with riffs and zero filler from track to track. It was just like, you talk about all killer, no filler. This is fucking insane.
The definition when you look at it in the dictionary.
Yeah, there is no experimentation. There is no fluff. There's no like pretentiousness. It's just pure, furious execution from seasoned musicians in the death metal space. It is pissed off. It is, you know, as you can imagine with bands like Nails and Undeath. Imagine like your favorite grind band, like let's say Pig Destroyer, with the sheer brutal intensity of like Cannibal Corpse, you know, and you mash them together, but with a modern kind of tinge to it, a modern production. And that's what you get with this album. Huge riffs. You know, it's got like a 27-minute runtime from front to back. So just like any like good grind album, you can put it on, and you know, if you put it on loop, you can just, you know, kind of keep going with it all day. Yeah, savage, brutal, unrelenting, no bullshit. Super technical. In terms of the drumming is just fucking, oh my god, this guy's got like Terminator legs. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's just yeah, it was insane. There was another kind of like brutal death album that was in this spot that I was kind of going back and forth with, and that was the new Throne album. Not Throne like the hardcore band, but like Throne, THRONE. And I was kind of tied, you know, between these two albums because they're very similar in a sense where they're just like straight up punchy, pissed off, no bullshit, no fluff, in your face death metal. And I was kind of looking for that, but this one took the spot. So yeah, if you like no gimmick, no bullshit death metal, just riffs and auditory punishment, then this album is fucking the tits.
It is god tier. And sometimes you need that. You just don't want to listen to anything that's going to take a lot out of you. You just need pure brutality and fucking send it.
Yeah, sometimes like you just need to, I don't know, just go full caveman and just turn your brain off. So
can relate to that.
I can relate to that every minute of every day of my life.
My brain is constantly off. What are you talking about?
Yeah. What is brain?
Brain me no speak. Okay.
Right.
This one is definitely brutal. I wouldn't say it's a complete shut your brain off one, but it's one that will definitely keep you engaged the whole time. It's got some serious riff stank. It's got some serious twang. Probably one of the tightest albums, I think, out of anything I have on this list here. It's a band from Norway called Celestial Scourge, and the release Observers of the Inevitable. Now this album, I remember it clear as day because when we created our January, February new albums that were released, this album was the first one out of that playlist. So it was like the first one with the first the first album of the first playlist of the first time that we're ever doing this. And because I didn't really listen to full-length albums before we started doing album of the day and everything like that. So this is all naive to me. And I remember right from the get-go, the twang and the punch of these guitars for a tech death album were probably the tightest that you're going to get out of everything. And one thing too is that these guys, they kind of get some inspiration from some other death metal, because I know the bassist and the guitarist also play for Blood Red Throne, and they just put out an album like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
so like they're keeping busy, and they got some inspiration from that as well. But yeah, like I don't know if they got some extreme noise gate going on, or if this is just how tight that they can play. But it's just you got that punch, you got that twang, you got like you can hear every single note, regardless if it's lead or if it's a solo or whatever it is. It's just right up in your face. I'd say it's pretty close to like Origin or the Zenith Passage. I wouldn't call it like similar to Origin in their technicality, not in their brutality. It's not as brutal as Origin, but they still possess some pretty like highly technical and like really precise musicianship, which I think is really good. I think it's not easy to do either. Like to try and fuse the brutality and the technicality and everything and make it sound original. It's not easy to do. And they did it, like Celestial Scourge also did it, but did it on like a 30-minute runtime. So like it's just
really good songwriting.
It is like they hunkered down, and you can easily try and go or be north of like 40 or 50 minutes when it comes to this sort of stuff, because of you're trying to jam too much in, you're trying to expand and everything for the technicality, change things up. But then at the same time, once you start getting into that territory, then everything just becomes dull and stale, and you kind of get listening fatigue. But I didn't get it with this one. It was like you're basically flying through a rocket ship the whole time and just like pinging around and bouncing, and you're like fighting off fighter jets and everything. It's weird. Like you're in some Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
it's sick.
That's the one thing I absolutely love about tech death, especially modern tech death, is the sci-fi themes, the alien themes, the it's so fucking cool.
There was also what was that Canadian band? Was it called Exterminatus? That also put out an album earlier this year. And that one was kind of similar in that same realm.
I find it's kind of a delicate dance, because there's a lot of tech death bands out there that just, they're savage players, like they can play the fuck out of their instruments, but a lot of times it's just noodling and technicality for the sake of technicality with no real progressive song structure. And so it kind of, it's like that kind of stuff is kind of a one and done for me, unless you're just so obviously brutal and heavy, like an Origin or Beneath a Massacre or something like that, where it's just like, it's infectious because it's so brutal. It's almost hilarious how brutal it is. Like I played Beneath a Massacre for Tara, for my wife, and it's one of those things where you play it just to see the look on somebody else's face, and they're just like, what the fuck?
And you're just staring at them with the biggest smile on your face. Like, I love this. This is awesome.
Yeah. But I agree. I think that Celestial Scourge album was like great, just really great songwriting. And like, they probably have riffs for days. And the fact that they were able to pack everything into a runtime like that for that full length is, and there's no skippable track either, the new Ominous Ruin album that came out this year too, that was actually like dancing a little bit on my list for my top 30. It's also a great tech death album, but there's a lot of fucking great tech death this year.
It was nuts. But I had to make some sacrifices with some little bit of a teaser, but I may have one or two others coming up.
Nice.
But this is what I think it's deemed for, and that's my number 18.
Sick. All right, number 17. I'm sticking in the traditional death metal This time it's got some old school vibes. And this one came out of left field for me. I've never listened to this band before this year. I thought it was just going to be another kind of like generic old school death metal band. But hell no, this is so original and so fresh. And the vocalist, female fronted vocalist, absolute monster on the vocals. Like, probably one of my favorite vocal performances of the year, just because it's so nasty. And that's Hedonist with Scapulimancy. I don't know how to pronounce the name Scapulimancy, if that's not the right way to say it. But they're Canadians from Victoria, BC. And this is filthy old school death metal done right. If you like Bolt Thrower, but like through a dripping, disgusting, heavy lens and a modern twist, it's got like raw as fuck riffs. Absolutely, like the riffing on this album is so good. It's like you just have to smile because it's like, my God, like it's so incredible. Drumming is absolutely insane. Vocalist, again, she absolutely kills it. Yeah, these guys are no slouches either. They've toured with like Necrot. They've toured with Carcass.
Oh shit.
Like they're definitely making their rounds. But like just like Necrot, super punchy, super riffy. These guys also have kind of like that horror atmosphere to it. A lot of like horror themes and stuff like that, but just like in your face. If you like, Bolt Thrower, Dismember, Asphyx, like a lot of the classic influences with like, I don't know to say. It's just fucking, it's insane. Again, I think it's going to be an album that has a lot of staying power in the scene for a long time. And I want to see them live. I think they would be so killer to see live.
Might need to go out for a West Coast swing.
Yeah. If they're playing on like a festival or something like that, that'd be super cool. Or even if they tour this year in Canada, I definitely love to see them.
Mm-hmm. Maybe, what was I going to say? Yeah, maybe they'll come to Metal Fest this year.
Yeah, that'd be sick. I'm so excited when to see who they're bringing on.
I know they always announce them like kind of close, because I've seen now like some like Milwaukee Metal Fest just announced their lineup the other day, and I think it's end of May or something is when they're doing it. So like they gave everybody plenty of time. So I'm sure there's some stuff behind the scenes that's already happening and we're just not made aware of yet. But will be exciting nonetheless.
Yep.
Okay. Number 17 for me kind of seems reminiscent of what you were doing, where it was a late addition to the game, one that came out in end of November, and I thought, okay, this has a chance. And then you rip it a couple of times and you're like, yeah, something's moving out here. Just a pure death metal band from Australia called Depravity, and their album Bestial.
So so good.
This one was good. Like if you like, they kind of play a style of death metal that's like similar to Nile, Morbid Angel, maybe a little bit of Hate Eternal, where the rhythms are like really, really tight and brutal, but they're accompanied by like little 2-bar licks like in between. So then there's like a little extra flair. So it's not like a tech death album where it's just like all the same throughout, like maybe a 16-bar or like a 24-bar stretch. They'll like do a little 2-bar or 4-bar lead up with like a little random 2-bar mini solo, and then back to 4-bar again, where it's kind of keeping you on your toes the whole time. You don't know what's happening and coming, and they don't do that all the time, but it's just kind of like a little sprinkle here and there to spice things up. Kind of progressive in a sense. Like even some of their song structures are not 4/4 time. There's a little bit of odd swings here and there, which I really like. And then the other thing that I think those two things are why this made my top album request or top 20 albums is also because there's a lot of death metal releases this year that were just forgettable. Like they just play the same riffs over and over again. It's the same intensity. It's the same speed. It's just, you could say that the same or the same band released the same 10 albums and be like, yeah, you know what? It's all the same. Or you kind of need that something to make you stand out from the crowd if you want to be able to have people remember who you are and your sound. So I think that's always really good. Another thing that they do is like lots of pace changes, and like sometimes they'll add maybe a small little melodic solo here and there, or like some double kicks going on while that melodic solo is going on. And then it's kind of like keeping that fear in the back of your mind where, you know, like that intensity is always there, but they're kind of like being nice to you and giving you a break. So it's just like, and then they're like straight back to the grind, straight with the riffs, straight with the heaviness. And it's just an overall fun listen. It's another Transcending Obscurity release too. And it's just like the Aussies and that label just put out some serious heat this year. And like these guys, they take their time when they write their albums. Like this, I think they formed in 2016 or something like that. And this is only their third full length album. So they take their time when they write material, which I think is good. And you can definitely hear it because it's taken them 5 years to come up with a new release. So I don't know. I'm excited to see where these guys come and see what they do in the future if they end up coming across the pond this way. But yeah, unreal release by them.
They've definitely like solidified their name in the modern like death metal space. Like their name is like so, like, I don't know, it's renowned almost now. They're up there like with the Defeated Sanities and stuff, and which is really cool. I love it's cool to see the progression of the bands that are just like really great at writing. They really take it seriously, and you know, they just put out like killer releases. It's not just a bunch of like, you know, just a bunch of crap that they're pumping out. I feel like there's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot that's very oversaturated with like especially old school death metal. I feel that way with a lot of the genres now, just because we are kind of going through a metal renaissance again. So there's a lot of music being pumped out. So you kind of have to like be a little bit critical and sift through some of the madness to try to find like the ones that stand out. And I think that Depravity is a band that's going to stand the test of time, and their writing has so much flair and like style to it. That's the one thing I find about a lot of really great like Australian and New Zealand bands is they have their own distinct style, you know? So yeah, definitely a band to watch for sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if like all those guys, they probably critique each other, and like they got to have an edge somehow because to try and compete against the market, like Australia's got like what 25 million people compared
it's
to
so hard
like
to tour
300
that place.
So then it's just like, if you want to try and make it in the big leagues,
That'd be serious.
you have to be good.
Yeah,
So
you got to be super serious about it, which is sick because it results in some of the best metal music in the world, right?
that's what we'll do. We'll go down to the West Coast. We'll go to Vancouver or Victoria, listen to some metal there, and then from there we'll take a connecting flight, go over to New Zealand and Australia, and we'll just do like a full
So
2 weeks.
take the tour around the world.
There we go.
End up in like Mongolia or something.
I wonder if there's a band that does like Mongolian infused sitar metal
chanting.
Yeah, that might
Mongolian.
be sick.
That'd be sick. Number 16. My number 16 is this band is the sound of my brain melting. It's one of the most unhinged and fucked up things I think I may have ever heard. If you like Dillinger Escape Plan and Psyopus, mix in some freeform saxophone and jazz, then you get ByoNoiseGenerator with Subnormal Dives.
Oh, I love this album.
It's another, I think, Transcending Obscurity release,
It is,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, this thing is like so ridiculous. It's like laughable, but on the first, it's not an easy listen. So I'll just disclaimer alert. Not an easy.
Do not
listen.
play this at Christmas.
Yeah. If you want to clear a room, then if you want to leave the party early or have the party leave you early, then just put this album on. But
or if you don't want to get laid.
Yeah, but this is save some chicks for the rest of us.
Yeah, no kidding.
This is it's at first listen, you're like, what the hell is going on? But then I like gave it a second chance and then a third and then so on and so forth, and it's so good. It's like it's hard to categorize it because it's so genre bending and there's so many time changes, and like the math core is so strong, but it infuses like elements of brutal death grind, math core, free jazz, saxophone. It's just so it's dizzying and it's really hard to categorize it. But if you like music that's like really interesting, intensely chaotic, I mean, Psyopus is a huge example, like probably the clearest example. I mean, those guys, Psyopus was kind of like the groundbreakers. Dillinger Escape Plan as well, of like the super chaotic, just ridiculous.
Maybe a
like
little bit of like Arsonist Get All the Girls too.
Yeah. But yeah, like toilet bowl vocals, just like super deep gutturals and like gurgling and like
pinging snares.
Pingy as fuck snares. That's one of the reasons why I love this album so much, is just the snare pop is just so snappy and like sounds so good. The whole thing is like a percussive overload. The vocalist is disgustingly crazy. It's not for like the passive easy listener of metal. This is for like a seasoned extreme metal music fan. If you're somebody who likes a lot of hooks, well, you're not gonna find that. If you're somebody like who likes off the rails fucking crazy chaotic energy, then you're gonna love it. So
it's like a car crash. It's like you don't want to look at it, but at the same time you're like, I kind of want to see what happens.
Yeah, this is like an audible car crash for somebody who's blind. It's like I can't. Instead of I can't look away, it's like I can't hear away. Like I just can't not listen to it. You know?
You can't turn it off.
Yeah. It's very. How do I explain it? It's very messy. Well, yeah, it's very messy, but in a good way, in an interesting.
Somehow
way.
it works.
Yeah. But if you're looking for something to scramble your brains, then it's in a good way. Then it's a good. It's a fucking great album.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that album is only like 15 minutes long or something. Like it's real, it's really short.
Yeah.
So like if you can get through those 15 minutes, then you're okay.
I would love to see them live. I don't even know if they play live or if it's just a project. I don't really know a ton about this band, to be honest.
I know they're Russian, so I don't know if they're coming over this way or not, or we got to go over to Mother Russia.
They are. Yeah. Oh, they're so good though.
Yep. Yeah. Great pick.
Yeah.
Great pick.
All right.
Okay. My number 16. It's a band you and I love. It's the Boys from the Bog. Sanguisugabogg with Hideous Aftermath. Now, from the moment we heard the singles, from the moment that we heard that they were coming out with a new album, this was kind of like a defining moment for this band. Reason being is because at this point, would be now their third full-length album. You kind of have to take into account like what your sound is. The first two albums that they released, well, the first one was basically like an album full of dick jokes and murder. So then it's just like, how do you take these guys seriously? Second album was like, okay, you're getting into some more riffs and shit now. Like you're starting to kind of develop your sound. Still sick, still fun to listen to. But then now it's like, okay, for your third album, are you start making a trend, or are you going to start to develop your sound even more? And I think that they took the latter and decided to make the best decision that they could have done and hired Kurt Ballou to produce this album for them. And if you've been living under
ridiculous,
like it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. And if you've been living under a rock and you don't know who he is, he's a bassist in Converge. And like he's also produced albums for like Full of Hell, Fuming Mouth, Gatecreeper, Cult Leader. So like he knows what it's like to make a stupidly brutal album. And I think having him produce this album was the best thing that they could have done. Yeah. The one thing that that the Bog has always stayed tried and true of is they've been huge proponents or huge proprietors of like making music that's similar to Mortician and like Devourment, where they're tuned low, basically all their guitars. Even they were talking about it on Garza, where they're playing 6-string guitars, but then they play it through different channels where one's like a bass and one's like a guitar. So it's just tune low, tune stupid, thick and heavy. And it's all rhythm based. Like there's no whammy solos. There's no gimmicky shit. It's just pure chaos and disgustingness. And like, if you can't tell just from the riffs, then just take a look at their freaking album cover where it's a dude impaled on a stick looking like one of those kebab shop things where you're like shaving meat off shawarma.
Human shawarma.
Shawarma. The most probably one of the most vile album covers of the year, I would say.
100%.
But listening to this album, I kind of felt like a proud father. I don't have kids, but I was just like, it's seeing your boys
grown up.
Yeah, it's like seeing your boys grow up and you're like, you know what? They're doing some great stuff right now. Like this is making me so happy. It's awesome to see that they've taken this step in their sound. Like it's still like Devin's vocals are still so brutal. He's still doing like his little pig snarl things that he did when I forget their first album. But anyway, like that was the big thing in some of their albums were like this not a pig snarl, but it's like a frog thing. It's weird, but he still has that. It's still the same slimy and chunky bass. It's just like you're being swallowed by a Florida Everglade bog, and like you can't escape it. But like if you're not coming out of this album and you don't got a black eye or you're not like bleeding from the mouth or something, then like you're listening to this thing wrong. It's just such an ass beater. But yeah, it's like one of my favorite death metal releases of the year for sure, bar none. So
sick. Bog Boys,
what you gonna do?
What you gonna do when we bog on you,
bad boys?
Okay, that's sick. Number 15. My number 15 is it's a dissonant, experimental, highly aggressive, blackened death metal project. That's a one-man show by a guy named Cameron Bosch. And it's called Light Dweller with the Subjugate. I've always loved this band, or this project, I should say, from its very inception. The songwriting is so good. Vocally, he is an absolute savage. He kind of has this, some people may see it as like kind of like a one note vocal delivery, which it is, but that's part of the whole atmosphere of this project. It's meant to feel intentionally hostile. Now the difference between this album and like I would say the previous album had some electronic elements as well, but this one has more like electronic beats alongside the traditional blast beats and drumming. There's more like synth programmed kind of elements to it, but the guitars are so good. Like I don't know how you play like that. Like his tremolo picking is so fast and just snappy, and the riffs are super just like, I don't know, angular and fucking dark and crazy and weird, and there's just twists and turns throughout the whole album. It's a pretty weird album. It's extremely ugly, but the atmosphere is so haunting and dark, and it's an album again where you have to listen to it in its entirety, I feel like, in order to get it. You can't just pick out one or two songs here or there. It's a project that must be listened to and appreciated from start to finish. Pretty underground because of how just like off kilter and stuff it is, but I love just like the disturbing energy of this album. I love the way it's produced. I love just every time this guy puts out something, it's just awesome. So yeah,
that's the one thing with these one-man projects too, is usually they don't see the light of day, pardon the pun.
Yeah.
They don't get the love that they should. It's very hard for them to become mainstream because they don't tour, because it's just one guy, and but they arguably make some of the best music out of anyone who's
Yeah.
touring. So like trying to find them and support them is probably the best thing that you could do for them.
Yeah. Super talented, super super experimental, like wildly creative, which I really appreciate. It's just different than a lot of the kind of like par for the course metal that's put out there nowadays. Yeah, and I like that it's not mainstream. When I went to that show with Larson, that Archaic show, and this guy was there. He was touring with them, and Desiderium was playing, and Cameron filled in on vocals. And I randomly, like, I saw their set. It was so good. Went and talked to them, the Desiderium guys at the merch table. And I was talking to Cameron, and I didn't realize that he was Light Dweller. And oddly enough, I was like, he was like, oh, he asked me, like, what are you listening to right now? And I'm like, oh, on my way here, I was listening to this one-man project called Light Dweller. And he's like, no way. He's like, I'm Light Dweller. And then I'm like, no, you're not. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm Cameron. And so then he's like, I'm filling in for vocals on this tour. So I'm like, dude, and I pulled up my phone, and like the first thing that showed up on my phone was my Bandcamp album of, I can't remember what the album was that I was listening to. It's one of the previous ones. And I showed it to him, and he's like, no fucking way. What are the chances of that? At this shitty little venue called Bulldog.
Right on Main Street in Winnipeg.
Yeah. Like, what are the chances of that? It's just so weird.
Just divine intervention.
Super nice guy. Really talented. Yeah. And anything he does, I'll follow. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. And one thing just to mention, that if you are digging any of the tunes that we are shouting out, support the fuck out of these guys. Like,
absolutely.
Buy their music on Bandcamp. If you stream it, That's great. Buy their music. You can hit them up. There's merch. There's, go see a show. Buy vinyl, buy CDs, whatever. Just, support them, because that's how we keep this amazing genre alive, and keep the underground alive too.
Absolutely. Gotta support the underground.
Yeah.
Well, my number 15, I wouldn't call these guys underground. They're like one of the pioneers of deathcore. Like, when you're thinking of the Mount Rushmore of deathcore, these guys are for sure on it. If not, number one. This band needs no introduction. It's Whitechapel and their album Hymns of Dissonance. This one, from the get-go, I remember, I think it was you were telling me, or maybe it was some interview that I watched. It was basically Phil Bozeman saying that, like, before they released this album, that they wanted to bring the fear back in deathcore, because that was something that had been lost over time. And even with Kin, when they released that in 2021, it was a good album, but I just don't think it was received as well as what they were wanting to. It was kind of going against what their normal sound was. It was softer and everything like that. So then when they were making this album, they're like, okay, let's rewind the clock here, take it back to like mid 2000s, and like bring back the OG deathcore, bring back the fear. And boy, did they do that, and they did it in spades. It's just, it felt like Phil has been keeping in like his vocals from the Sulfatic Defilement, and it's just like he's been wanting to let it out for 20 years. And then all of a sudden, right from the first song, Prisoner 666, it's just been like full vocal assault all the way through. No let up, no nothing. and it's just the breakdowns. Fuck, they're like heavy and they're thought out, and like they serve their point of a breakdown. It's not like a vocal. It's not a vocal Olympic breakdown. It's a part where it's like a short segment. You know, you're changing the pace of the song. You need a break for the band members or something. That's what a breakdown's supposed to be there for. It's not supposed to be this long, drawn out 1 minute symphony of a thing. That is the thing that pisses me the fuck off so bad. I do not like it. Yeah. And it's just, you got these cute little, not cute, but like short little breakdowns. And then Phil is like shrieking in the background, and you're like feeling like you're in a cage and you're got chains tied up around your wrists and you're like, can't escape. It's crazy. It's just, it's also super intense. Like it keeps you engaged for basically the whole album. It's not one of those albums where you have to listen to it front to back. Like each song has the same intensity, like no matter which one that you play, but it feels like a crime if you don't listen to it all, because it's just like it's an experience. You get so pissed off listening to one of these songs, and then it's like, now I'm supposed to go to like yacht rock or something after that. It's like, no, I gotta stay in this mood, in this feeling for like 45 minutes. But like we had some unreal deathcore releases this year, especially with a lot of bands kind of, like I said, turning back the clock and putting their stamp on the scene. But I think throughout them all, this album was just one that, was the best produced. It was the most original and the most fearful, just gross and heavy and intense, and gives you goosebumps. It's so good. That it's very, very scary. Very scary. Whitechapel. Gave me nightmares. Very scary. Is that Dave Chappelle's alter ego, is Whitechapel? Yeah, have you ever seen old Dave Chappelle Chappelle Show episodes where he is pretending to be a news anchor? I can't remember his name, but he like does whiteface, where he puts like white powder all over his body. I haven't seen that one. White guy. Oh, it's good. Every time I think about Whitechapel, I just you think of Dave Chappelle doing whiteface? Yeah, you have to look him up. You have to look it up after. I'll do it. We had Dave Chappelle whiteface. It's hilarious. Okay, so number 14. This was such a late addition. I'm talking last week. I'm talking Friday. I'm talking Wednesday. I listened to the album premiere, which was released on YouTube prior to Bandcamp or Spotify. The Spotify and Bandcamp release date was Friday last week. So yesterday. I've run through this album 3 times. It's 4 songs, totaling 36 minutes, so like average of 9 minutes per song. And it's a band from Iceland. Okay. They're called Martröd. And the album is called Draumsynir, Eldsins. If that's how you pronounce it, so I apologize. I'm not obviously Icelandic, even though I wish I was. This, talk about a journey of an album. This is like the musical equivalent to a thunderstorm. It is the perfect length. Each song is so captivating. You cannot, if you start listening, you cannot stop listening. Like, it sucks you in. It's beautiful. It's abrasive. It's atmospheric. It's chaotic at times. But ultimately, the word that I can use for it is psychedelic. Like,
I don't think there's been an album this year. Last year it was Ulcerate for me that gave me the same kind of like psychedelic or like hallucinatory effect when you're listening to an album. This year, this is the album.
Mhm.
And it's just it's beautiful. Like, it's phenomenal. It's black metal, but it's it has a lot of like tribal influence. They use a lot of different instrumentation. There's like this orchestral type of atmosphere to it. There's a lot of textures and layers going on within the instrumentation. It's incredibly intricate, but yet dynamic. It's not just like a barrage of black metal riffs. It's like it's an orchestra. It's fucking, I don't know how to describe it. I don't even know how you write this kind of stuff. You have to be like, have like a music theory background or like an orchestral background in order to come up with this. Last year, there was an album by a band called Ingurgitating Oblivion, which I listened to, and it was incredibly dense and it was a difficult listen. But I re-listened to it recently, and I'm like, oh my God, this thing is phenomenal. It's a very like mature kind of listen, if that's a word without sounding pretentious. But it's you have to listen to it. I feel like even people who don't like or listen to metal would listen to this, buy the vinyl, put it on, sit there, smoke a joint or not, drink some whiskey, put it on, enjoy it front to back. You'll be like, oh my God, that is impressive as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can say.
Like that one, I was surprised with the runtime too, because I listened to it yesterday and I thought like this was going to be a 50-minute plus long album, which I think because it is so dense that with it being 36 minutes, you can, give your full attention to it and make it so that you understand the themes and everything a little bit more clearly and concisely. And like it doesn't gonna fall off by the wayside in a sense. Like it makes it easier to listen to. So that was smart on their end.
Yeah, it's a full composition, like a full body of work that again must be listened to in its entirety to appreciate. But it's like, it's so just incredible. Like, I mean, super talented. I believe these guys are in other projects. I don't know exactly. I want to say Ad Nauseum is one of them. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But if you like atmospheric, dissonant black metal with a lot of psychedelic qualities, that's very immersive and textured and layered, this is absolute standout for me.
Hell yeah.
Deadly,
man. Okay, my number 14. It's a band you and I both know. It's a fairly newish album, one that I didn't think was going to be on my list, but kind of the more that I listened to it, the more I kind of grew fonder of it. The band's called Conjurer with their release Unself. So this one doesn't take a rocket of blind test to know that there's some pretty heavy themes going on here. Basically, long story short, Unself comes from one of the band members is transitioning and becoming somebody else. So then this album is essentially kind of a cry out for like your feelings and everything through this process and feeling like you're somebody who you're not. And like you can definitely hear the pain and the anguish and everything through the instrumentation and through the vocals as well. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think they are the lead vocalist or something in this band. I'm not too sure. But even if you didn't know that story, even by judging by the background of the album cover, you can kind of gauge it too, because they're like two silhouettes. One's got a teal background, one's got a black background, like silhouettes of people, but then somehow in the middle they like fuse together. So it's kind of like as if you're becoming something else, but like there's still parts of you from your old self that are in with your new self. And you're like dealing with like the constant battle of that. So like it's pretty heavy and pretty dense, even on just like a lyrical standpoint. Musically though, these guys are kind of on that same level of like Sludge or Primitive Man, with like the dense atmosphere, the reverb vocals, and kind of that groovy and sludgy pace, kind of post-hardcore a little bit. That feeling. Like taking basically the best parts of all those albums or all those bands and kind of creating a super, super dense, super intense album. I think the breakdowns in this album are probably one of the heaviest that you're going to get in like the post-hardcore, post-metal space. Like it just feels like it's being played through blackened molasses, but then like it's got some acoustic guitars and everything to help cleanse the palette a little bit, get you right back in the right mindset. And then it's like right back to the bellowing screams, right back to the dissonant yet uplifting atmosphere. And it's just like it's a truly unique listening experience, like one of the most creative post-metal albums I think I've listened to in recent memory. I think it can cause some self-reflection as a listener, and maybe that's something that Conjurer wanted to do to all of its listeners, and kind of makes you ponder, makes you needing to listen to it a few times to try and digest everything, and even just become like a more educated listener, because it's not something that mainstream metalheads would probably don't like divulge into. So it could be one of those where it's just like there's multiple layers of experiences that you could gain from listening to such a record. But I think it's some of the best post metal and sludge metal that this world has to offer. So
100%, man. Amen. This one was like on my list, and to be honest with you, this was the album that I bumped for the Martröd album. And I feel really guilty about that. I wish that I could. Such an amazing band, and probably the most like straightforward album that they've put out, in the sense that of its content. Like lyrically, they've always been kind of like a tongue-in-cheek, poetic kind of band, but this one is like deals with some, like you said, serious themes and like topics that are it kind of like forces the listener to like take seriously. And I thought it was beautiful, and but yet like punishingly heavy as well. Great writing, great heavy as fuck. Like, I don't know if I want to call them breakdowns, but like just these super heavy parts that just
like transition periods.
I feel like you're getting pummeled into the earth, you know. So wicked release.
Wicked is right.
It's a good one. Okay, 13. Here we go. Okay, so this also was a late entry. This album came out, I believe, last month, November. It is a band from Portugal called The Ominous Circle with Cloven Tongues of Fire. this thing again is absolutely brutal. So this is their sophomore album, and these guys are Portuguese black and death doom band. This album is incredibly dark. It's punishing. It's relentless, uncompromising from start to finish. Super dense guitars with a lot of like very bottom heavy, down tuned, just like just really punishing. Super atmospheric with their use of dissonance, but yet you have like a lot of doom drenched kind of vocals, and it's quite blackened as well. So there's a good mix of all of the things that I love about death metal. But it sounds massive. It sounds like suffocating, and it feels old, if that makes sense. Like it has this like ancient vibe to it. You just imagine, I'm sure these guys, I haven't seen what these guys look like. I don't know what the band members look like. I just picture them wearing cloaks with like hoods. If they're not, they have to. They probably are. So, but like, yeah, it's one of the heaviest releases this year for sure. There's a song with one of the craziest solos I've ever heard this year. I just got to pull it up so I don't look like an idiot. It's called Through Tunnels Ablaze. And like basically like the halfway point of that song, there's this solo and you're just like, oh my God.
You're just strapped to the chair, can't move.
So fucking crazy. You know? I just love how it's not just like a one-trick pony album. You know, there's been a lot of death doom albums and like disso death albums this year. This has so much character and like so much variety. It's a absolute ripper. And I can't wait to, read more about these guys, learn more about them, and continue to follow them. So maybe one day I'll go to Portugal and see them play live.
Maybe. Wouldn't be a bad little trip to check those guys out.
Yeah.
Also check out Portugal.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, Portugal is nice.
Yeah. Like,
Portugal is okay.
The country's secondary.
Yeah. Portugal's okay. But Black and Disso Death Doom is way better.
Oh, totally. You're in the majority with that one.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. My lucky number 13. This one is a band that I didn't expect was going to make my year-end list. I was so blown away. I can remember exactly where I was the first time I heard this album. I'm just like, good God, this is such an incredible and captivating album. It has no reason being this good, but it is just that good. And it's Greyhaven with Keep It Quiet. And this one, first album since 2022, post-hardcore band. But like such a treat from these guys. It's like right from the start, that Will Putney's fingers are like all over it. Yeah, it's like huge Every Time I Die, huge Dillinger, huge Better Lovers vibes.
He is legend.
Such a legend. Like I had a weird feeling that when I was listening to this album again, doing my notes, and I'm like, man, it sounds like Will produced this album. And then I had to do some research, and like, sure enough, it was them. And it's just like, when some guys are producing albums, they just have that, they've got that sound, and he did it with these guys. The vocalist, I'm not too sure what his name is, but it sounds like Greg stepping in and screaming from the depths of hell. But the one thing that makes it for me is he's got like Greg screams, but he has such a good and crisp, clean vocal too, which I don't think Greg has the best at. So it's like you're fusing the two together, and you're kind of getting like a huge variety of vocal performances. And you'll be going from like a really high octane chorus, full no holds barred, and then all of a sudden, then you're going into like a nice little melodic, clean singing portion, and then right back to 100. Like it's just turning from 100, 0, 100, 0. And it's super engaging and captivating. I love the high octane choruses too. There's one song called Bury a Miracle that is just, if you need an example of what, like, if you were going to listen to one song on this album, you should listen to the whole album. But there's only one song you should listen to. You should listen to that, because that will encapsulate basically the feeling of this whole record. Like they pack a punch when they need to, they pull away when they need to. It's not a one-trick pony, that's for sure. But then like you're in a constant state of like build-ups and then slowdowns, and then it's just super fun and super enjoyable. The one thing that I think could make this album really mainstream as well is like it has all of the elements of really good production that you need in order to kind of take it to that next level. Like it has the hooks, it has the power, it has everything else. It's just they need the leg to stand on. Essentially, they need that punch. So I think like these guys, especially with this album, if it catches on over the next year or 2 years, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of blow up a little bit more. Just because of how well this album is produced. But if you're wanting, you're wanting an album that'll break up your death metal rotation, and you still want something that packs a punch and is fun and enjoyable, then listen to Keep It Quiet.
Hell yeah. If you take Norma and He Is Legend and Nickelback and you put them in a blender, that's this band in all the best possible ways.
Oh yeah.
The riffs are heavy, choruses are savage, hooks
for days,
all over this. Hooks for days. Yeah, riffs are so like well crafted and hooky. Such a great band.
They're the hookers of the post metal world.
Yeah. Okay, number 12.
Number 12.
Number 12. Okay. This is how do I explain this? Carefully crafted, heavily layered in the best possible way, intelligent Polish death metal of the blackened variety.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Dormant Ordeal, tooth and nail. Unbelievable album. Huge step up from their last album. Their last album is phenomenal, but this thing is just next level. I feel like it pushes them a step forward in every way. Super brutal, incredibly precise. The drummer is an absolute fucking maniac. One of the best Polish death metal. Poland is like it again has its own style. You know, it's like a place where you can't afford to be shitty. You know, you've got like Behemoth, Decapitated, Dormant, Ordeal. And like this album is super technical, incredibly atmospheric, using instruments. And it's crushingly heavy. Its production is perfectly clear. Layers and layers and layers of like intricate detail to the point where if you listen to it, it might wash over you. But then if you go back, you'll notice nuances throughout every listen, which is so cool. Yeah, and this thing has been getting a lot of attention in the technical, well, in the death metal space, like this album. And I feel like for so many people, it's like in the top year our album of the year list. And you can definitely see why after you listen to it. Yeah. I don't know what else to say other than it packs a punch. You just need to fucking listen to it and appreciate it. If you like atmospheric, blackened, technical death metal, then say no more.
And if these guys they're a two-piece too, because the story with that band is that it started as a one-man project, and then this was back when they formed. I think it was like back in 06 or something. Like they've been around for a while, and then the original member brought on a second guy, so then it's always been a two-piece. But then before this album, so their last album, I forget what it was called, but they ended up kicking out the original member and brought out and brought in a new guy. So then it's the first time that there's two members creating an album, and none of them are the original member. And then that's they awesome. Create arguably the best album that band has ever played.
Yeah.
So it's amazing, weird, man.
It's such a clear, like the way it's produced is so clear, but it's like so polished and so heavy. But yeah, it's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Certified gym classic for me.
Love it. I don't know why. There's it's not in regard or with Tooth and Nail, but they have one song from their last album, and it's called "Poetry Doesn't Work on Whores." And I just love I love that album, or I love that song name.
That song. Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Yep. Okay, my number 12. We got two more tech death bands for my number 12 and my number 11. And we'll kick her off with one. You and I both know who these guys are. We've seen them. It's Fallujah with Xenotaph. What a treat listening to this band and this album. Like, if for some reason you've been living under a rock and you don't know who Fallujah is, if you've listened to Rivers of Nile, where you have the clean vocals and then the more progressive instrumentation parts, that's Fallujah, except Fallujah is more tech death based. They're not as they're progressive, but they have the same song structure as like what Rivers of Nile have, where like you'll transition to more melodic and tranquil parts, but then have like some beautiful clean singing as well. So it's like you're on this cosmic carpet journey or magic carpet ride or whatever. And like you're experiencing the good, you're experiencing the bad, you're just kind of taking everything at face value, and you're just like, come to me, I will take everything that I'm dealing with. The riffs on this album were like really quick and tight, very reminiscent of the Faceless. and like where you have like that precision and like you hear every note and like it whizzes by at light speed, and like there's no shortage of these moments throughout the album, ranging from like the technicality or the clean vocals or like letting the instruments take in their like have their moment, and then the vocals will have their moment, like they're being able to share the stage a little bit and not overstaying their welcome, and then also have it not become like an oversaturated album either. I always find myself coming back to this album in a year where there was so many tech death releases, just because there's so many like progressive and jazz elements that are laced through this album, and it really helps to keep the listening experience fresh, and it's really difficult to grow tired of. And then the vocalist, I think probably the star of the show, in my opinion, like the transitioning from like those low screams to like the melodic highs. It's just like, how can a person do something like that? Like, it makes no sense. And it's so clean. And like, he could perform in a brutal death metal band, but then also could perform in like the opera. And like, he could just be in both places in the same night and be completely fine. But he's like, fuck it, I'll just do it all in the same place and just do it for one band and, you know, save my time and my gas money. And it's just like, having that ability just creates such a perfect ensemble, I think, and actually pairs well with kind of that more melodic, progressive, technical playing, because it does like waver so much in their sound. You need somebody who is diverse at the forefront to kind of match the band, or else you're going to be clashing heads a little bit. So if you're looking for a progressive metal band that's, you know, sure to keep you engaged and, you know, wishing you had more music to listen to, then definitely check out Xenotaph and Fallujah if for some reason you haven't already.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Love
Number
it.
11. Number 11.
Last one for part 2.
Last but not least, I'm putting the glasses on for this one.
Do it.
All right, we got the Bog Boys, Sanguisugabogg with Hideous Aftermath.
Yeah, there we go.
Like you said, this is their best album so far. Choosing Kurt Ballou to produce this was probably seen as like a left field decision for them, but I can see why, because Kurt has a lot of experience dealing with like sludge metal bands and like post metal bands, and this album has a lot of that like sludge groove element to it. A lot of these grooves should be fucking illegal, to be honest with you. They're still like dumb fucking stupid heavy, but somehow this album is so much smarter than anything else that they've released so far. Like the songwriting is so good. The you know, they're still Sanguisugabogg with the punishing brutality, you know, and the vocal delivery and stuff like that. But it's very dynamic. I love the I Hate God vibes in that industrial sounding song. I can't remember what it is, but like when that first came on, I was like, this is Bog. And it just like kind of highlights probably a lot of the stuff that they individually listen to. And I think Kurt Ballou is very good at bringing that out. Probably wanted to refine their sound a bit more. And, you know, this is such an authentic album for them. Like, I think that it's an album where they're going to have a hard time topping it, to be honest with you. You know, yeah, it's how do I explain it? other than everything else that we've said so far. It's just a fucking ass beater.
What about a bass eater?
Yeah, bass eater or an ass eater. Yeah,
it's all of those.
If you like going down on your lady's bog, then this is the perfect ass eater album. Yeah, it's just phenomenal. It's fucking heavy as shit, and the vocal delivery is savage. Devin is a beast. You could just imagine him, belting all these songs out live, walking around like a fucking caveman. And yeah, just I don't know. I don't have words to describe this in like a clear and critical way. It's just heavy as fuck.
It's just so good. Like, it makes no sense how something this heavy and so simple yet so complex, because it's not like they're like, I can't imagine they're using too much music theory or anything when it comes to this writing, but yet it's still original and it's still incredibly captivating, and like, it's all of the above. Like, you can't get enough of it.
It's I have heard this over and over again, watching and listening to the little album of the year release videos that, certain band members from different bands will release on their social media, from genres across the metal spectrum, from like death doom bands or black metal bands or, old school death metal bands, even hardcore bands, metalcore bands. Everybody is saying the same thing, which is like, we all thought this band was a joke until we kept coming back to this album, kept coming back to it. And they're like, holy shit, this thing is so fucking good. It's so addictive. I mean, the Defeated Sanity feature is one of the most disgustingly heavy things I've ever heard in my life. I don't think anybody else can make a heavier song. So,
like, I agree with you in the fact that I don't know how in the hell they're going to top this in the future and try to make something better. Like, I don't know, they're gonna have to find a
switch
genie
it up
or something.
Yeah,
but
we have to put out an emo album.
But I'm gonna be really curious, because now that they've released this album, they're going on tour with like Lamb of God, Fit for an Autopsy, and Kublai Khan, and doing like a whole ass stadium tour or arena tour now, which is insane for Bog. So then now they're going to be exposing themselves to more people, but then also getting some more inspiration from other more mainstream bands. So it'd be curious to see where they go from here. I hope they keep their underground sound and they don't lose it, because that's probably the best quality of this band. So I hope they don't deviate from that, but we'll just have to see what happens. Time will tell.
Sick. All right.
Okie doke. My number 11, last one for part 2. We're going from another super tight underground metal band. If you have been in the scene, you know this band, you know this album. Mainstream, maybe not. It's Fleshbore with Painted Paradise. This was one where it was another early release. I think this was like February or March or something. It was another one where it's like, you listen to it, and with how tight and how precise it is, it's like, it's making my top albums of the year already. It's that good. I think if you were to look at it at first glance, though, I bet you 90% of all the metalheads would think this is probably some mellow death or symphonic metal, because it's like a tree. You kind of got
It's
like
all colorful.
some, yeah, it's all colorful and playful and stuff. And you're
Sparkly.
like, okay, like this is going to be a long, drawn out album. And then you play it and it's like the most technical and brutal shit ever. And you're like, what even is happening here? Like, this is, I put it in the realm of like Necrophagist, Archspire, Spawn of Possession, where you kind of have like those machine gun vocals in a sense, and like super staccato, intricated riffs. Like comparing yourself to Archspire is kind of a tight dance, if you will. Like it's because they are the gold standard. But if you're looking for inspiration, then that's probably the closest thing that you're going to get. The one thing that I love about this album, and the reason why this is my top tech death album of the year, is because they take technicality to a whole new level. Because most bands will either have technical playing from the way that their song structure is, or from the way that they play the guitar, and like all the noodling and shit. And these guys take both of those and combine it into this record. So you're getting super intricate riffs at regular 4/4 time, or you're getting simpler riffs in like a different time signature. And that's where, and then like the drums are doing something else, and it kind of throws your brain for a loop there. So it's just a whole unique listening experience. Your brain's kind of in a blender the whole time, wondering what the hell is going on. But then yet it's still groovy and brutal, and like it's a masterpiece. It feels like something where it's just, there's so much going on at sometimes you think, is this even coordinated, or somehow it's planned? Because it does seem so chaotic, but it works. It's amazing. It also just goes to show like how talented these guys are as musicians, and how serious they take their work to be able to distinctly make a piece of music that is so captivating and that is so original, and one where it's just every time I have, that tech death hunch, I kind of find my way making back to Fleshbore and listening to this album. So and then it's also like one of those things where they add a little bit of deathcore flair here and there. Like maybe they'll add a breakdown to kind of spice things up a little bit, but it's not like a 40-second or a minute long breakdown where it's like, okay, you've done your thing now, you can move on. Like just a little thing to, kind of get the craziness out of your head a little bit, calm yourself down a little bit, and then like back to the grindstone. But I mean, another great transcending obscurity release, another great tech death release. So I think this one is one of the best out there. So that's my number 11.
Sweet. Good list,
brother.
Good list. So we'll thanks so much, guys, for checking out our top 20. Next video is going to be our top 10.
Absolutely.
What great offerings will we have to show these fine people?
You will have to wait and find out.
You'll have to wait to see. No idea. I have no idea what you're delivering. You have no idea what I'm delivering. It's just going to be a surprise in the eyes.
It is. We
Get
have
your goggles on.
I might have to go and get some goggles before the next episode.
Into the splash zone. You're about to get sprayed.
I'll put on my bathing suit for the next episode.
Yeah. We're going to do the next one in our igloo, so stay tuned.
Yes, because we don't live in houses in Manitoba here. We live in igloos.
Yeah, in Winnipeg. All right. Peace in the crease, the Middle East.
Peace out.
All right.
Stay metal.
Stay metal, stay hard.
Always hard.
Bye for now. Bye.